what would you like? You want to be left-footed. They're just different. The way they move the ball, it's effortless for them. And Arsenal are blessed. If you look at Miles Lewis-Skelly, Saka, Odegaard, Waneri, I don't know what they're giving them at Arsenal, but they've got some beautiful left foots there, and they just do it differently. And he's going to be a superstar. Make no mistake.
Is that right that we should be saying that right now? Or are you a little bit worried about what could happen from this point? Because the secret is out the bag now. People have been talking about this kid for a long time. Now we've actually seen it in a Premier League game.
Look, this is even with myself, there was a lot of wait, so I had to wait 6 months to even play. So there's all that expectation. And then I, of course, went to World Cup without playing in the league, no choice of my own. And then there's a different kind of pressure. He's going to have pressure every day now, how he even, the way he is around the place, right? In at school, of course, I'm sure Arsenal really look after him in that side of it, because can't forget about that side. Obviously, Gary alluded to that in the comms, but you can just get the sense that he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's got a good man management there as well, Mikel Arteta, who as well will look after him, and he trusts him. And I think that's the biggest thing. When you have a manager that trusts you and it allows you to express yourself, I think that the world's at his feet. But it just kind of makes me sick at times, just thinking, look, let's let him enjoy his football. He's going to obviously still develop mentally as well. I think that's one thing we need to, not shy away from. I think it's important obviously to look after him in that sense. But I think they will, the squad. I get the sense that they really do look after him, Declan Rice particularly as well.
You're right. The manager's really important, but the support network around him, be it his parents, where every day he's going to go home and they're going to be making sure that he keeps his head on his shoulders. And it's not going to be easy, because right now that kid is the talk of the town. It's as simple as that. But there's been the talk of the town since he was 13 years of age. He's been blowing up at Arsenal for playing 2-3 years ahead of his, ahead of his age, ahead of his time. And every time he makes that step up, it's just effortless for him. So I think it was the same. I remember playing against Wayne Rooney when he was making his debut for Everton. I was playing for Tottenham. I remember looking at him in the tunnel and just thinking, this kid's different. And you just know, you see it, the way they play, the confidence they have. And it was the same with Max when he walked onto that pitch today. It wasn't like this is going to be a stress for him. But some people are different.
Just one thing, Jamie, because we've talked about the fact, as Theo said, he talked about it, Gary, on commentary, about his schooling. How is that actually going to work? If he's going to train as a professional, how can he then go and finish his GCSEs at the same time?
Well, he's on summer holidays at the moment, so he's not got to do school at the minute.
He's fine for a week.
He's got another week left. And then, what they did last year, from what I can gather, was that he would be training with the first team, and then he'd do tutoring in the evening, which Arsenal are adamant, and they supply tutors to make sure that he keeps his grades up. I know his parents are going to be pretty militant with him. They're going to be on him. They're going to make sure that he comes out of the school the best that he can. I can only speak from experience. I was sort of playing first team football at 16. The last thing on my mind was my schooling, and I didn't exactly have a mum and dad that would push me because they just wanted me to be footballers. But I'm not going to say that you should do that at home, by the way. That's not. But
we would never have guessed.
Oh, thanks. But I think that from Max's perspective, and Arsenal will make sure that he does all the academics that he can while making sure that he carries on with the football trajectory that he is. And you have to balance it, because next year he will still go back to school. He'll have to do his exams, because they don't homeschool him at say, like maybe Chelsea do. They go to school and then they come into training. But there will be a fine balance there. And then obviously the following year he'll sign on his scholarship terms, and then when he's 17 he'll sign as a pro. So he's still got a year and a half before he can sign a pro deal at a football club, and he's already made his professional debut. It's pretty scary, but as I said, I'm pretty confident in what I'm saying here. This isn't a typical 15-year-old. This is a very unusual player that we're watching.
But just one more on this, Theo. It was the ideal circumstance to bring him on today, wasn't it? They'd lost a couple of players with injury, so maybe the hand was forced a little bit today, but they were comfortable in the game. There was plenty of time left in it as well for him to sort of showcase his talents. Do you think Mikel Arteta might just pull the reins back in a bit now?
I get the impression that I don't think he will, because I think as well, when you start scoring more and more goals, the freedom comes out of all the players, not just Max. And I think it's really important, Arsenal, to go away from just winning 1-0 from set pieces. Yeah. They score 2, 3, 4 goals. Obviously, it helps with the league itself, but it just lets you just loosen it, lets you express yourself. I think it's really good to see.
Let's put it this way, right? Mikel Arteta's got a job to do. Right? Of course, he wants to develop this young man, but right now, things have already changed in 90 minutes. Whereas he might not come on today. He might not start in the next 6 weeks. But all of a sudden, Bukayo Saka looks like he's got a hamstring injury. After his last hamstring injury, he needed surgery. So I'm not a doctor, but let's work on the basis that's 2 or 3 weeks he's going to be out for. Obviously, they've got international break in that period. So Madueke will probably come onto the right, or Waneri, either one. And if they're not working, what's your first substitution? you're bringing on a kid that's already made an impact and drawn a penalty in a game. So already things have escalated. You know, like you said, the cat's out the bag. Defenders are going to have a nightmare trying to deal with him. But this is exciting. You know, I think we should embrace it. I don't think we should hide from it. This is a unique young player who's going to have a brilliant career, and he's at the right club because they've already done it with Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's got a great support network around him, and then you've obviously got Nwaneri, and you look at Bukayo Saka, and if you're right now that young man, I would be watching what Bukayo Saka does every day in training. Because he was great academically, he was well spoken about how well he did at school. On the pitch, he's a superstar. He is the perfect role model for him. I went to Liverpool, I had John Barnes. I should just watch John Barnes every day in training. I just wanted to be like him. And I just thought that's the role model that you want to have. And that's why for Max, playing the same position, just look at what Bukayo's done. Because he's not just being a role model on the pitch, he's also a role model off the pitch.
So exciting, isn't it?